I helped. He writes it. I like that. You're right.
Oh, good idea, Steve. Good idea. Here, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm still celebrating. I had
Each time I count it, twice, maybe. I would say 24 hours. What? So, yeah, but she's coming.
You take any seat that's open. I think they prefer to save these seats. There's plenty of seats up in the front. Wherever you want.
tova. Shiviti Adonai, I set God before me all the time, so that God will be with me to give me joy and help me if I stumble and fall. Today is all about joy. It may not seem so. It may seem strange to think of Yom Kippur as joyful, such a solemn time. It's known as solemn, but I think of it as just the opposite. I feel such anticipation for this day because I know that all of us, we do the work. We go inside. We look to God for help. I know that at the end of this day, tomorrow night, we will rise up released from all that has burdened us this year. We will be forgiven for anything that continues to make us feel guilty or remorseful. We will be able to forgive ourselves as well. So I look to this day with great joy. Bottom of page 204. I am grateful for this, a moment of truth. Grateful to stand before you in judgment. You know me as a liar, and I am flooded with relief to have my darkest self exposed at last. Every day I break my vows to be the dutiful child, selfless parent, caring friend, responsible citizen of the world. No one sees, no one knows how often I take the easy way. I let myself off the hook, give myself the benefit of the doubt every day. On this day, this one day, I stand before you naked, vulnerable, without disguise, without embellishment, naked, shivering, ridiculous. I implore you, let me try again. We continue on the first page of the Kol Nidre insert here. Very powerful song. Broken hearts and broken wings, bring it all, bring everything. Bring the song you fear to sing, all is welcome here. And even if you broke your vow 1,000 times, come anyhow. Step into the power of now. Everything we bring is welcome here.
Broken hearts and broken wings, bring it all, bring everything. Bring the song you fear to sing, all is welcome here. And even if you broke your vows 1,000 times, come anyhow. Step into the power of now, all is welcome here. Broken hearts and broken wings, bring it all, bring everything. Bring the song you fear to sing, all is welcome here. And even if you broke your vow 1,000 times, come anyhow. Step into the power of now, all is welcome here. welcome here. Broken hearts and broken wings. Bring it on, bring everything. Bring the song you here to sing. All is welcome here. Broken hearts and broken wings. Bring it all, bring everything. Bring the song you came to sing. All is welcome here. Even if you all 1,000 times coming down. Step into the power now. All is welcome here. That's that broken hearts. Broken hearts and broken wings. Bring it all, bring everything. Bring the song you feel to sing. All is welcome here. And even if you were broken down 1,000 times, come anyhow. Step into the power of now. All is welcome here.
Page 204.
So we're about to start a 25-hour journey. And started. And it's special to be here together. And two brief things before we can really begin. One is, it's often the case that when it comes to expressing gratitude and expressing love, there's usually a little too little and it's sometimes a little too late. And in 24 hours when we end here, we're all going to be thankful, and it's been a powerful and tiring journey, and we're all going to go home. And when we say thank you, it'll be the end of a big chapter here for all of us here and for Mishkan, and it'll be the 8th year that we've been here together, and the last one in this format before some things change. And so, as we start this journey together, and really before it's over, because when it's over, it's a little bit too late. And I think we can all take expressing gratitude and expressing love before it's too late. And so this is one of those moments. And so I want to say now, thank you to Rabbi Marsha and to all these wonderful people for this journey. Nadav and I have been here for 8 years, and Mad and Ellen and Yair and Michal. And it's so special for me personally. So much experience and growth has happened here. And I'm very grateful. And I appreciate that we can be here and say this now before it's all over. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, who here experiences this night, Kol Nidre, as a kind of pinnacle experience of the Jewish year? Pinnacle. Pinnacle. Yeah.
Pinnacle.
An important, my English, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. And I think one of the amazing things is, we show up here, and as we read through the words, sometimes they can feel a little bit cryptic, right? In Kol Nidre, all these different vows and all these things. It's such an important time. We all show up, and the words can sometimes be a little cryptic. And the words we're going to say now together, Bishiva Shel Mala, on the bottom of page 204, we'll say it in a moment,
it says sometimes, this machzor is very special, and sometimes the translation is a little bit soft. So it says at the end, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed. But really in Hebrew, it means to pray with the criminals. That's what the Hebrew says. And who here's a criminal?
Oh, we all are. Come on, we all.
Well,
we all have done things wrong.
So that's the thing, thousands of synagogues across the world are davening Kol Nidre tonight and saying these words. And how many criminals are there in all these synagogues? And so Rabbi Marsha knows all the answers. And the truth is that we're here because there is some part of us which is criminal. Otherwise, there's no need for us to be here if everything is all good. And we dress in white, and we kind of pretend that we're all clean. But we're here because we're not yet. And so this is an invitation, like we sang in the song together, all is welcome here, that we really want to bring our full parts. Because if we only bring our shiny white parts, then there's no real reason for us to be here. And as we go through this journey together, let's try to show up with all our parts.
Page 204 in the middle of the page. Or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. And we rise.
Bum bidi bum 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 bum bidi bum. Yabada yabada bum bidi bum yabada yabada בישיבה של מעלה ובישיבה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים.
By the authority of the court on high and by the authority of this court below, with divine consent and with the consent of this congregation, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed.
B'shiva Shemala U'vishiva Shelmata B'shiva Shemala U'vishiva Shelmata Adat HaMakom Ve'adat HaKahal Adat HaMakom Ve'adat HaKahal Anu matiri lahitpalel im ha'arayanim Anu matiri lahitpalel im ha'arayanim B'shiva Shemala U'vishiva
Nidre. May all the vows that we vowed last year and broke, may all the vows that we may make in the future and may break. We stand before you, O God, in the past and the present and the future. Forgive us through all time and space. We will sing the Kol Nidre traditionally 3 times, first through the piano, then sung softly, and then sung loudly.
Kol Nidre ve'esarei ve'charomei ve'karnamei וכינויי וכינוסי ושבות. מיום כיפורים זה עד יום כיפורים
ונשלח לכל הדעת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה. The entire congregation of the people of Israel shall be forgiven, as well as the stranger who dwells among them, for all have erred. ונשלח לכל הדעת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה. סלח נא על עוון העם הזה כגודל חסדך וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה. ושם נאמר ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. Adonai replied, I have forgiven as you have asked. ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. And we can all join together in the blessing of Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Please be seated.
Baruch Hu on the top of page 207.
According to halakha, according to Jewish law, we are all meant to fast through these 25 hours, but there are some who are required to do just the opposite. If you are ill, or if the fasting will cause harm to your health, then halakha says that you are not allowed to fast. But we are drawn to fast. And some of us who may not be able to fast may find that painful and hard. So we ask God to protect those among us who are not able to fast. On this Day of Atonement, this Shabbat, Shabbaton, this year and every year, we celebrate life. We are here today because we want to live a better life. We want to reach for a life of Torah, mitzvot, and loving kindness. Help all of us, whether we're able to fast or not, help all of us to reach for chesed, for loving kindness. Help me in the coming year to do my best to guard my health. And we offer gratitude for the breath that is within us. As we all say, Amen. We continue in the program book, the page 12 in this booklet that we had for Rosh Hashanah. And as we sang earlier, we want all of us to be brought in today. All of us to feel that this sacred place, that this ancient gathering that links us from now to the past and to the future, that we feel at home and that we can find a home in our souls and healing for our souls. Page 12.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we are right here, between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we are right here, between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home. I found a place
stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear.
Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home. I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here. We are right here between the hills, the stars, the sun, the river so clear, river so clear. River so clear, river so clear. River so clear, river so clear.
We turn to page 207 as we rise for the Baruch.
Di-di-da, da, 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 da. Di-di-da, da, 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 di-da, da, 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 da. Di-di-da, da, di-di-da, da, 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 da. Di-di-da, da, 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 da. Di-di-da, da, 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 da. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. You may be seated. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר הוא מעביר יום ומביא לילה, הוא מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. דידידה דה 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 דידידה דה 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 דידידה דידידה דה 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 דידידה דה 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 דידידה המעריב הערבים אהבת עולה בית ישראל. כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני. דידידה דה 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 ימה דה דה דידידה דה 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 דידידה דה 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 דידידה
בקרב עמו ישראל.
We're going to chant the Shema together in a little bit different way. The Shema, which is kind of sums up everything for us Jews. And the amazing thing is about it is basically it's a recognition that everything is already here. It's not like calling us to do anything, it's calling us just to listen, because everything we need to hear is already there. And we're going to do that right now. So this is call and response, and I invite you to join.
And just want to remind you, after the Shema, we will all sing together the Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, which usually this is the only night, the only service of the year when we say that verse out loud.
Shema,
Shema, try it.
Israel,
Israel,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Echad,
Echad,
Shema,
Shema,
Israel,
Israel,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Echad.
Echad.
I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't yet.
Let each note
Shema.
take our breath away. Shema,
Israel,
Yisrael,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Echad,
Echad,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Echad,
Echad,
Shema,
Shema,
Israel,
Yisrael,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Echad.
Echad.
Please join me.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Hayim Shamoad. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 210.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורתי לא תוסף מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר הים לפני משה זה אלי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב הורגע לו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 211, we ask God to spread a shelter of peace over all of us in this new year.
השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לשלום, לשלום. השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו
It's my pleasure and honor to invite Chuck Diamond, our co-president, to join us on the bima for a few words.
Thank you for joining us tonight in person and virtually. Your presence is so important to us. It is my pleasure to co-lead this 165-year-old institution with none other than my favorite teammate and my wife, Sharon. We are proud to be the first couple to be co-presidents in CMT history. The time is now that we focus on our future to become more active on this campus and within our community. We want to continue building collaborative relationships with our campus partners. We look forward to introducing you to our new rabbinic intern, David Kaplinsky, who will be joining us in the next few weeks. David is beginning his 4th year at Hebrew College, having transferred from the Ziegler School in LA. His enthusiasm, youthfulness, and musicality will be an asset to our community. He looks forward to meeting us very soon. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be announcing our choice for an interim rabbi who will partner with us and support our congregation as we explore a framework of possibilities for our next chapter. We want you to have many reasons to feel good and welcome to our synagogue and campus community. It is hard to be Jewish alone. That is why we need each other. I would like to thank Rabbi Plum for creating spiritual and musically uplifting services for all of us. As you may know, Rabbi Plum has already started a new position at the Rashi School and will be leaving us at the end of October. We are honoring her legacy on Friday evening, October 13, which will include a festive Friday musical Shabbat, followed by dinner as we celebrate her 10 years with us. RSVP ASAP for this special evening. I've had the honor to lead the High Holiday Committee Task Force for a number of years. I would like to thank committee members Larry Fisher, Faye Sinkowitz, Miriam Druckman, Russ Stein, Barry Kaplan, Jeff Katz, Tony Spitzer, Lorraine Kalp, and Rabbi Plum for their time, assistance, and ideas, along with their great problem-solving skills. A special thank you to Tony and Lorraine for all they do all year long, especially at this very busy time leading up to these high holy days. As an added bonus, we get Tony's 2 kids, Rose, who reads Torah, and her brother Evan, who are our amazing dueling shofar blowers. Many thanks to the talented musicians and to our Chazan, Arochai, who have been an integral part of our high holiday services for the past several years. Thank you to the sound and to the video teams for their efforts and skills in bringing quality sound and streaming. Thank you to Russ Stein for his partnership as senior usher. Besides being my neighbor and good friend, he happens to be a pleasure to work with. And of course, special thanks to Dimitri for always being available and helping us out. The leadership at Mishkan Tefila begins with our executive team, our officers, those who you saw who were up here leading the procession this evening, along with past presidents. Along with the board of directors and board of trustees, these lay leaders spend countless hours donating their time and efforts to help to keep our synagogue humming. Thank you to you all. Our hope is to continue to be a vibrant Jewish community with a secure future for generations to come. With your participation and support, I know together we can continue to succeed. Gamar Katima Tova. May you all be sealed in the book of life and be blessed with a year of good health, prosperity, and fulfillment.
We continue on page 212.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו.
Please rise for the Chetzi Kaddish, and we will continue with a silent Amidah for our own silent prayers. Page 212.
ויתקדש שמי רבה ביעלמה דיבר חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכו וביומכו ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך ליעלם וליעלם יעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דם אירן בעלם ויאמרו אמן
Page 223.
יעלה תחנוננו מערב, ויבוא שבתנו מבוקר, וירא רינוננו עד ערב, עד ערב. יעלה קולנו מערב, ויבוא צדקתנו מבוקר, וירא פדיוננו עד ערב, עד ערב. יעלה עינוינו מערב, ויבוא סליחתנו מבוקר, וירא נקתנו עד ערב, עד ערב. יעלה מנוסנו מערב, ויבוא למענו מבוקר, וירא כיפורנו עד ערב, עד ערב. ויבוא טהרנו מבוקר, ויראה חינוננו עד ערב. עד ערב. יעלה זיכרוננו מערב, ויבוא ויעודנו מבוקר, ויראה הדרתנו עד ערב, עד ערב. יעלה דופקנו ויבוא גילנו מבוקר, ויראה בקשתנו עד ערב, עד ערב. יעלה נקתנו מערב, ויבוא אליך מבוקר, ויראה אלינו עד ערב, עד ערב.
We continue on page 226. At the bottom of the page, you can find the transliteration on the left side of the page in red.
נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה.
וסלחת על עווננו לחטאתנו ונחלתנו, סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו. כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך. We're on page 227, Kihine Kachomer. This is one of my favorites. You can see each paragraph is a different craft. And each craft takes a raw material and refines it and makes it very special and beautiful. And we have ceramics, we have stone, we have iron, we have a sailor, we have glass, we have beautiful things. And everything we see here, the things we're wearing, all of it is a product of someone following their devotion and creating beauty and taking something raw and making it precious to us. And in the same way each of these materials has their craft, what makes them beautiful, each one of us has our craft, which refines us and makes us beautiful. And even inside ourselves, each one of us has different aspects which need different crafts and different arts which we need to master. And there are times where we show up and you can say, wow, I showed up really nicely. And that's an appreciation of that craft that we've dedicated time to and love. And the other times where we don't show up the way we want to, and we're like, wow, that's a craft I need to work on. So that being said, this is kind of a joyful tune. And that's because learning these crafts and refining ourselves should be a joyful thing. So all these lines in bold, they're the same lines. And that's the chorus I want to invite you to join in with us. And this is how it goes. 1, 2, 3. La לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. again. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. one more time. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. It's coming around. כי הנה כחומר ביד היוצר, ברצותו מרחיב ברצותו מקצר. כן אנחנו בידך חסד נוצר. Out to you. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. כי הנה כאבן ביד המסתת, ברצותו אוחז וברצותו מחטט. כן אנחנו בידך מחיה וממוטט. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. כי הנה כגרזן ביד החרש, ברצותו דיבק לאור וברצותו פרש. כן אנחנו בידך תומך אני ורש. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. כי הנה כהגה ביד המלאך, ברצותו אוחז וברצותו שילח. כן אנחנו בידך אל טוב וסלח. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. כי הנה כזכוכית ביד המזגג, ברצותו חוגג וברצותו ממוגג. כן אנחנו בידך מוחל זדון ושגג. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. סקסופון! כי הנה כירייה ביד הרוקם, ברצותו מיישר וברצותו מעקם. כן אנחנו בידך אל כנו ונוקם. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. כי הנה ככסף ביד הצורף, ברצותו משגשג וברצותו מצרף. כן אנחנו בידך ממציא למזור טרף. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. לברית הבט, לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא. one more time. לברית הבט ועל תפן לה יצא.
Page 233, Shema Kolenu, hear our voice, O God. Please rise.
Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chuz v'rachem aleinu. Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chuz v'rachem aleinu. וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו, כי את שומע תפילות ותחנונים אתה. שמע קולנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חוס ורחם עלינו.
השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
אל תשליכנו מלפניך, ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממנו.
אל תשליכנו מלפניך, ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממנו.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו, אל תעזבנו.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו, אל תעזבנו. אל תעזבנו אדוני אלוהינו, אל תיקח ממנו, כי אתה יראת שמים מפינו, והגיון מפינו לפניך, וגואלנו כי לך אדוני חיים. Please be seated.
אלוהינו ולאבותינו ואמותינו, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו. כי אנו עמך ואתה אלוהינו, אנו בניך ואתה אבינו, אנו עבדיך ואתה אדוננו, אנו קהלך ואתה חלקנו, אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צונך ואתה רוענו, אנו חרמך ואתה נוטרנו, אנו פעולתך ואתה יוצרנו, אנו רעייתך ואתה דודנו, אנו סגולתך ואתה קרובנו, אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו ממירך ואתה ממירנו, אנו עזי פנים ואתה רחום וחנון, אנו קשי עורף ואתה ערך אפיים, אנו מלא עוון ואתה מלא רחמים, אנו ימינו כצל עובר ואתה הוא ושנותיך לא יתאמו.
A teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. Your fellow human being is a mirror for you. If there is love and compassion in your soul, you will see the goodness in others. If you see a blemish in another, it is your own imperfection you encounter. Take careful note of the flaws you perceive in others. This is a lesson for you. They are your own flaws set before you, a reminder of your own spiritual work. We continue with Ashamnu on page 235. Please rise.
Ay na 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 na, da 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 da, da 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 da. Ashamnu, bagadnu, gazalnu, dibarnu dofi. Ay na 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 na, da 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 da. הבינו והרשענו, זדנו, חמסנו, טפלנו שקר. איי 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 יצנו רע, כיזבנו, לצנו, מרדנו, נייצנו, שררנו, אבינו, פשענו, צררנו, קישינו עורף. איי 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 לה 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 רשענו, שיחתנו, תיעבנו, טעינו, תיעתנו. איי לה לה
Page 237, as we continue with our vidui, with our confessional.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ובלא יודעים, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחל לנו, כפר לנו, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכחש ובחזק. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפריקת אור. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתשומת יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתימהון לבב, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו.
Please be seated. We continue on page 240. Please join us responsively. You'll find the Hebrew repeats over and over again, Hu Ya'anenu, Hu Ya'anenu. Remember all those who came before us, all those who struggled with you, O God, all those who wrestled with you, all those who felt abandoned, all those who felt lost. They cried out to you, and you answered them. So too answer us. Hu Ya'anenu.
מי שענה לשרה אימנו בזקנתה,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה לאברהם אבינו בהר המוריה,
הוא יעננו.
Isaac their son bound on the altar,
הוא יעננו.
Rebecca as her son struggled with her,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה ליעקב בבית אל,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה ללאה בעוניה,
הוא יעננו.
Rachel desperate for a child,
הוא יעננו.
Joseph abandoned in prison,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה לה מילדות העבריות על האובניים,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה ליוכבד על שפת היאור,
הוא יעננו.
the people Israel on the shores of the sea,
הוא יעננו.
Moses standing on the slopes of Sinai,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה למרים בבערה,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה לאהרון במחתה,
הוא יעננו.
Pinchas seeking his place above the crowd,
הוא יעננו.
the daughters of Tzlofchad standing their ground,
הוא יעננו.
מי שענה לכל הצדיקים והצדיקות, החסידים והחסידות, התמימים והתמימות והישרים והישרות והרחמנים והרחמניות, הוא יעננו.
Has anyone seen the movie A Fish Called Wanda? Yeah. I hated that scene where the fish, where he eats the fish. Anyway, moving on. You may remember at the beginning of the movie, a thief is robbing a bank. He ties up the bank clerks, but as he does so, he continually apologizes to them. He ties their hands and says, "I'm sorry." He makes them lie down on the ground and says, "Sorry." He steals their money and says, "Sorry." He thinks he is making the situation better because he's saying the right things, the polite things. But all the while, he is taking their money and scaring them half to death. The apologies don't seem to help much. So what game are we going to play tonight? The game of sorry. Raise your hand if you've played the game. Yeah, okay. So you'll recognize the kind of viciousness of this game. To play, for those of you who haven't played, you move around the board, and if you land on a square that someone else is on, you push them off the square and send them back to the beginning. When the one whose square you took glares at you, you shrug and say, "Sorry." The way to win is to grab as many squares as you can to get to the end first. The point of games like sorry is to give us the chance to be rude and uncaring. For a brief time, we get to be our worst selves. And it's fun. Anyone who has played the game knows how satisfying it can be to jump on someone's square and to laugh as they have to start over. It appeals to our basest nature, our pure survival instinct, and allows us to be our most aggressive selves while we are playing the game. But the game of sorry is just a game. The minute we live our real lives based on the rules of the game, we have lost the game that matters, the game of love, of connection. We lose our most precious wins. In the game, you say sorry after each misdeed, but you keep making them. You keep stealing what other people have. You keep breaking 2 of the 10 commandments, do not steal and do not envy what other people have. We can say sorry, and then in the next minute, to another person who's a player, we do the exact same thing as we did before. We don't have to be held accountable for our sins in this game. The game encourages us to think that saying sorry is enough. But in real life, we know it isn't. We can't apologize, shrug our shoulders, and then do the same thing over and over. It may be hard to say we're sorry. It may have taken a lot of effort to admit that we have not been the best we could be. But apologizing without change is only half the battle. We can't succeed in life, truly, if all we do is shrug our shoulders and become repeat offenders. Continuing to push others aside simply because we want what they have, because we want to win, we want to be right, we want to be the best or in charge. It's not sustainable or Jewish. In the Torah, we are told to help lift up our enemy's ox, not stand idly by when our neighbor bleeds. Society cannot function based on the game sorry. We can't continue to only want what we want and ignore the needs of others. But I understand why we do it, because listening to others and trying to do what they need means that sometimes we don't get what we want or what we need. We are living in a time when people feel free to abuse, insult, spread hatred and outright lies through their words, either in person or on social media. We say what we want, we do what we want, and we think it's fine to do it. Because in the game of that view of the world, we are concerned with only ourselves. Now, we might find that we say sorry to others that we may have hurt, but we know in our heart of hearts that we are just apologizing because we want to move on from the conflict. We want to stop talking about it. So we say sorry so that we can stop the conversation. Anybody done that besides me? Oh, come on. Thank you very much, thank you. We often think that actually we're right. So why should we apologize? The other person should be apologizing to us. We ignore that we may have caused unnecessary harm. We may have behaved unkindly, even if we were right. We know underneath it all that we aren't the ones who really need to change. When we think that, we are in fact playing a game. And if we do that, we will continually lose. We will continue to cause hurt to those we love, and worse, we will never grow. We will never change. We will never get better. We will be stuck in the same habits our entire lifetime. That means we lose the game. There are times, however, when we do say sorry and we truly mean it. Our intentions are good and sincere. We really want to change and do things differently next time. But we find that it's hard, and we end up making the same mistakes. Sometimes that happens because it's just the way our brains work, or we're particularly stressed. And sometimes it's just because change is really hard. What do we do in those cases? What do we do with the apologies that are sincere, but the subsequent actions don't match our expectations? We want the other person to change, but they don't. We want to change, but we don't. What then? How do we feel when it is us who apologizes so sincerely, but we still repeat the behavior, even when we try not to? When change is hard, curiosity and forgiveness are needed. Don't judge a person only by the outcome of their apology. Rather than judging the person harshly and assuming they don't care about the mistakes they're making, try being curious, wondering why they happen. Appreciate their efforts. Appreciate our efforts to change. Then let it go. Don't let it grow into a mental hurricane that blows away any good that comes from the person or from ourselves. Love them, love ourselves anyway, and keep trying to change. So now, get ready. We are going to play the game of sorry. We are going to examine how we treat others whose squares we land on in real life. I'm going to ask you, as you know, I make us all embarrassed. I'm going to ask us to raise our hands, or you can just kind of raise your hand quietly if you like. If you recognize yourself in any of these scenarios, the scenarios are real life expressions of times when we are absorbed in our own needs and desires and didn't pay enough attention to the needs of others. So this is a time to be honest. It's just us in the room. In our prayers, most of the prayers that we say today are in the plural because we're all here to support each other, not judge each other. Today is not an Instagram day or a Facebook day where everyone looks happy and successful and there are no wrinkles or problems. We are all here today to reveal the sins, to share the reality of being human. We're not here to judge, but to support. We are all trying to stop playing sorry and master the game of teshuvah, of repentance. The way to play the game of teshuvah, of love, of change, is to stop before leaping, stop before speaking, stop before doing or saying what's about to come out of our mouths. Pause and remember that the person that's in front of us is human just like us. Pause and ask ourselves, what game are we about to play? The game of sorry or the game of love? Will we repeat our same old behaviors or will we choose differently? So let's play. We're going to practice admitting and sharing the burden of our mistakes, of seeing what happens when we land on these squares that I'm going to share with us now. Raise your hands or nod for all that apply. How often do we ignore loved ones when they ask for what they need? Come on, everybody. Come on, how many of us turn on our phones and become deaf to the words of others who are trying to talk to us? Yeah. This is such a common phenomenon that there's a new word for it. Do you know the word for being on your phone while someone's trying to talk to you? It's called phubbing. Phone snubbing. Phubbing. Yeah, just in case you needed to know that word. How many times have we let someone take the whole blame for something when we contributed to the problem? Give a nod, raise your hands. How often have we felt badly about something we did, but decided to say nothing because we wanted to protect ourselves? We didn't want to get yelled at or blamed. And even though we're playing the game of sorry, raise your hand if sometimes you knew you should say sorry, but didn't. We don't want to admit that maybe, just maybe, we might have been wrong, or we could have done better. We want to protect our place on the board so much that we forget that there might be another way of looking at things than the way we see it. Another one? Another square? How many of us resist bending or stretching beyond our comfort zone for the sake of others? Yeah. Double, triple, yeah. How many times in the past year have we believed the negative that we were told about a person rather than finding out for ourselves or trusting our own experience of the person? Yeah? How many have judged negatively just because of something someone told us? By believing without finding out more, we push people off their squares, their reputations, their jobs, out of our lives. The truth is, we all play the game. We do all of these. We are hardwired to protect ourselves, to survive, which often means we have to look out for ourselves. However, as a species, we also need to depend on each other in order to survive and thrive. So now, today, we will switch from the game of sorry to the game of teshuvah. And believe it or not, I found a game that is the game of I'm sorry. Yeah, really, really. And there are cards that you can choose, that you pick up to say I'm sorry for. We can play it later. Take a moment and think about the questions I just asked and the ones we all answered. Think about the times that perhaps we should have said sorry and we didn't. Or when we said sorry and we didn't mean it. Or when someone came to us and said, I'm sorry, and we rejected it. I invite you to pick one of those from the past year, from your own life, and just sit with it for just a couple of seconds. And when you're ready, when you've got it in your head, when you've got it in your memory, sit with it. And when you're ready, say out loud, you can quietly or loudly, I am sorry. Take a few seconds. So in our own hearts, we have just said, I'm sorry. And I'm challenging us to think a bit deeper about that word. What does the word sorry mean? I once saw a quote that said, I'm sorry, and by sorry, I mean get over it. In England, it is usual for the English to continually say sorry. You walk by someone in a narrow aisle in the grocery store and you say sorry. You walk by someone getting on a bus and you say sorry. It means nothing. But in Hebrew, there are two words, at least two words for sorry. One is like the English version, which is slicha, which means, excuse me, sorry. But the other one is ani mitzta'eret, mitzta'er. It comes from the word tsa'ar, which means pain, grief. It means, I see you, and I see that I caused you pain. Ani mitzta'eret. I'm not excusing myself. I'm not ignoring it. I see you, and I see me. Ani mitzta'eret. Taylor Swift actually said it very well. Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. If you live like that, you live with ghosts. You forgive, you forget, but you never let it go. So far, I have been talking about you and me, and how we play the game of sorry, and how we need to start playing the game of love and teshuva. But in this moment in time, I can't just speak about you and me. The countries that we love are also playing the game of sorry, and it needs a moment of our attention. What do we do when we witness leaders refusing to play the teshuva game and only playing sorry? Our country needs to learn the role of an apology. For example, when the U.S. apologizes to Native Americans, to the indigenous people who loved this land before we Europeans arrived, but we don't improve their healthcare or education system, that is a slicha, not a mitzta'er. It says, I want a good soundbite, I want some votes, but I'm not willing to put myself out to make things right. When it comes to racism and the harm done in this country by slavery, some leaders in this country want the sin expunged from the history books, so we don't even have to think about saying sorry. And Israel, our beloved homeland. As much as I love Israel, I very much fear that sorry is the game that the far-right Israeli government is playing now. The extremists are trying to push others off their squares so those in power can win. The strategy of the nationalistic Knesset is to push the Supreme Court off its square so there will be no more obstacles to complete power. If the racist leaders like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir can push peaceful Palestinian farmers off their squares, then religious settlers can take over their space, land, and fields. If far-right religious zealots push women off their squares, buses, jobs, and beaches, then religious extremist men will feel comfortable taking over the whole board. If the coalition can take over the board, then Netanyahu will not have to be pushed off his square into prison. The hundreds and thousands of Israelis and Jews around the world, including those here, who believe in pluralism, who believe that the Jewish game board is for everyone, that everyone belongs on the board, not just some. They refuse to be pushed off their squares. The silent majority is complacent no longer. They are demanding that the game be open to all those who want to play peacefully and respectfully, regardless of their race, religion, observance, sexuality, gender, or background. Now is the time to stop being bystanders while others play games that threaten our fundamental Jewish values. It is time for us as well to notice when we are playing the game of sorry in our own lives, when we start jumping over, ignoring, or pushing out others. The game of teshuva, of repentance, love, and change may be a bit harder to play, and it takes practice, but in the end, we are all winners. Shana Tova. We continue with Avinu Malkeinu on page 243.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu. Ve'al olaleinu v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu kale deven v'cherev v'ra'ov me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu kale kol tsar u'mastin me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, kotbeinu b'sefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, chodesh aleinu, chodesh aleinu, shana tova.
אבינו מלכנו, החזירנו בתשובה שלמה לפניך. אבינו מלכנו, שלח רפואה שלמה לחולי עמך. אבינו מלכנו, זוכרנו בזיכרון טוב לפניך. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר חיים טובים. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר גאולה וישועה. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר זכויות. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה.
אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה.
אבינו מלכנו, חננו בנינו. אבינו מלכנו, חננו בנינו, כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. Kaddish Shalem on page 245. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה וילמד יברכיותי ויצליח מלכותי ויצמח פורקני ויקרב משיחי בחיי חונו וביומי חונו ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואימרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמי יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודש בריחו לעילא לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה לאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן תתקבל צלותינו ואותינו דכל בית ישראל קדם אבוהן די ושמיא ואמרו אמן יהי שלום הרבה מיין שמיא וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל אמרו אמן.
We continue with the Aleinu on page 246.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כהמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You can repeat after me. והשבותה
והשבותה והשבותה
אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים והשבותה אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ושמו אחד.
Please be seated, but I invite mourners to remain standing on page 247 for Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudusha barichu. Le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiram b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. U'ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. We continue with Psalm 27 on page 248, and we are about 6 lines down, 8 lines down, and the transliteration is in the red on the left side of the page. One thing I ask of God, to be my light and my help, to stand with me and walk with me, to remind me that I dwell in this glorious house of creation that is yours, and that I feel blessed every day.
שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה שבתי בבית אדוני
Yom Kippur continues tomorrow morning with Shacharit at 9 a.m. The Torah service will begin roughly 9:45, 10 a.m. Sermon and Yizkor will be roughly around 11-ish.
It's going to be rough tomorrow.
And also to remind you that in the afternoon tomorrow, sessions that we've organized for the campus at 3 o'clock to 4:15, and then Mincha will begin at 4:30, and Nila roughly about 5:30. And we promise you shofar blast tomorrow night at 7:19. No roughly about it, 7:19. I wish us all at Tzom Kal an easy fast, meaningful heart work and soul work, which may not be so easy. But I hope that we all know that God's comforting presence and love is with us as we do the work throughout the day. We conclude this part of the service on page 250 with Yigdal.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא וינהת אל מציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתן אוהל, אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לים אוהל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. נדב בן עוזר מהצוות לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רק כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו, לבדות מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים מחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו, מתים מחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו. יפה מאוד.